I might have hit that a little hard. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Desiree, and I'm your lay worship leader for today's service. I warmly welcome you to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. This week, Rosemary is leading our service. Our ushers are Debbie Baumgarten and Pat Hart, and coffee hour today is hosted by David Wilson. Before we begin our time of worship, we just have only a couple announcements. Metal recycling. As you do your spring cleaning, please save your metal for our drive that supports our local food pantry. Metal recycling will be Saturday, October 4th. And then Lori has an announcement. You're so tall.
This is a standout in support of the Bridgewater Public Library. It is on June 20th, 2026, from 10 to 11. Please join everybody in showing support for the library. It's going to be in front of the library on the sidewalk. All are welcome. Bring signs if you can. It's sponsored by BCCR, the Bridgewater for Civil Rights, Bridgewater Community. You all know community. Citizens for Civil Rights. Thank you.
First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. Love is the power that holds us together. We live our faith values by welcoming all people with love and open hearts. No matter who you are, no matter who you love, and no matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. If you're joining us for the first time today, we welcome you to share in worship today as your whole self. We also encourage you to fill out the guest book at the back of the sanctuary. For newcomers joining us online, you can see the sign-up link posted in the Zoom chat. And for those of us joining in worship in the sanctuary today, let's take a moment and welcome our friends joining virtually via Zoom this morning. Hi. The recording camera is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and sorrows. In the event of an emergency, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors behind you, or should you need a ramp, through the School Street entrance to my left. Thank you for joining in worship today. Whether you join us in person or via Zoom, your presence creates our beloved community of faith. We will now begin our time of worship with the prelude. Would Hadley like to come forward and light our chalice? Please join me in reciting our chalice lighting words. We light our chalice to mark this sacred hour as we gather in this beautiful historic sanctuary, both in body and in spirit. We connect to the many generations that have come here to explore the divine. Let us join our hearts and find the holy in our relationship to each other. It is time to share worship together. Please rise in body or spirit, and let us join our voices for the affirmation of our covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. morning. It's so good to be here with you today for our Flower Communion service. Our opening words this morning are by Thomas Rhodes. All of us are beautiful. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches, some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground. And some stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds, sometimes. Some of us carry seeds, sometimes. Some of us are prickly, sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. I'd like to invite you to join me in singing our opening hymn. It's number 1068 in your teal hymnal. The words will be on the slide as well. Please rise as you're willing and able to sing Rising Green. We have a story for all ages today to learn about the origins of our Flower Communion service. This story I'm paraphrasing from my friend and your guest preacher, Reverend Martha Durkee Newman, who wrote it. This is the story of 3 flowers. It's a true story, true in all the ways that are important from long ago, and it's a story about today. First, This is the story of a beautiful primrose growing on the side of the road in a city called Prague, in a land that at the time was called Czechoslovakia. On a warm and sunny day in June 1923, a girl, aged 10, named Marie, was walking along and she saw the primrose. Oh, this is so perfect, she thought. She picked the primrose and she carried it with her. She was on her way to church. Her church was called the Liberal Religious Fellowship, and it was at the foot of the Charles Bridge. Marie called it Unitaria. Her minister was a man called Reverend Norbert Chopek. Now, Marie was picking this primrose and bringing it to church because Reverend Norbert had asked all of the members of church to bring a flower to church that day. This might be familiar. From wherever they were coming from, they were invited to bring the flower. This church, like flowers, was a diverse community. People looked different from each other. They had different bodies and skin tones and backgrounds. They believed different things about God, too, and about how to live a meaningful life. This was, at the time, a pluralistic community, and Reverend Norbert made this ritual to represent that beauty of pluralism. Now, pluralism is a word that is thrown around a lot, but it really just means that all of us belong together, side by side, no matter our differences in belief. We don't seek to make people more like us in a pluralistic world. We seek understanding and appreciation of how we are all different, and we celebrate that diversity. So Marie, the little girl, she picked this primrose and she brought it to church, and Reverend Norbert's wife, Maya, held out a vase for her to put the flower in. And Marie added her flower alongside all the other flowers from her community. She remembered that they all belonged together, and she smiled. Second, this is the story of a dandelion growing through the cracks in the pavement of a concentration camp called Dachau in a country called Germany. Sometime later, in the place where Marie had lived, there were people who came to power who did not believe that pluralism was important. This, too, may be familiar. Instead, they believed that everyone should look the same way and believe the same things and practice those beliefs in the same way. These people were called Nazis, and they discriminated against all kinds of people different from them. They chose groups of people who were already vulnerable to scapegoat, to blame the problems of a society on, and this was not true. The Nazis made it illegal to listen to diverse stories, to listen to news from outside the country, and they wanted to control the story about the discrimination that was happening. But Reverend Norbert, he did not agree. He knew from looking at all the beautiful flowers together that they were more beautiful, were stronger, and were better as one diverse, pluralistic community. And so Reverend Norbert spoke out. And the Nazis arrested him and sent him to Dachau, a concentration camp. And Marie, the little girl, was scared. Norbert's wife, Maya, told her, "Look for the flowers. Where there is beauty, there is hope." When Reverend Norbert was in the concentration camp, he gathered together the other prisoners. He encouraged them to bring a flower if they could find it. And he walked along the edge of the fence looking toward freedom, and he saw a dandelion. And he smiled. Where there is beauty, there is hope. He picked the dandelion and brought the other prisoners together. And together they completed the same flower communion ritual that Reverend Norbert had led at his church. Reverend Norbert was later killed by the Nazis. 3. This is the story of a black-eyed Susan growing on the church lawn of First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts, not so very far from here. Many years later, Maya said goodbye to Marie, the little girl, and the community she had so loved in Prague, and she came to the United States. She was ordained as a Unitarian minister, and she came to the First Parish in Cambridge.
She told the story there in that new community of how her community had come together to celebrate their pluralism. She told the story of how they resisted fascism and Nazism, how they stood up against discrimination. One day, she went outside and she saw a black-eyed Susan growing up through the headstones in the graveyard. She remembered then the flower communion that Norbert had led. She remembered how each person had brought a flower, and she decided to bring this celebration, this ritual, to her new community. And so she picked the flower and she put it in a vase, and she invited others to do the same. In doing so, she reminded them that pluralism is always worth it, that diversity is our strength, and that when there is beauty, there is hope. Now it is many years later from this story, and Unitarian Universalist communities all over the United States and across the world celebrate this special ritual of flower communion every year. We honor the history of this story, and we remember our heritage as people who resist fascism, discrimination, and violence wherever it may appear. And we recommit ourselves to the work of belonging as one beautiful people together, the work of creating a pluralistic world. That is the end of my story. Okay. In a moment, we'll do our part of this story, the first part of our ritual of flower communion. Now, you may have brought a flower to church today, or you may not have, and either way is okay. All are invited to participate. If you see a neighbor who doesn't have a flower, and you have an extra flower, I invite you to share those flowers with those folks. In a moment, you'll be invited to come forward down the center pew and place your flower in one of the vases up here. We'll create together a beautiful bouquet, celebrating our diversity, celebrating summer, and celebrating beauty. Because when there is beauty, there is hope. Let us begin. There's more space than it looks like.
I know, and there's lots of space here.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
The leaves don't want to cooperate. It's okay. It's all good. Still space there.
Got a short vase
Yeah,
here, if
small
that's what
vase.
you want. Oh, so nice.
I also brought an inchworm.
Inchworm, we're so lucky.
Yes.
We're not even blessing the animals today.
I think it's good.
David went to the supermarket and bought these this morning.
They're beautiful.
We should though.
There's room here too. You want to put them in there? Yes. This is tall, so I got room in the tall one. Definitely got more room in the tall one.
Oh, that looks so great.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and our loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come to the front to light a candle. Please share fully but briefly into the microphone so that all may hear you. You may also choose to light your candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share by typing their joys and sorrows in the chat, and a volunteer in the sanctuary will read them out loud.
Let's take a couple deep breaths, settle into this space, this contemplative time to reckon with what's really going on with us, what we're feeling, what we're bringing to this space today. One more deep breath at your own pace. Spirit of life and Spirit of love, help us to grow beautiful gardens of our lives. Help us to get rid of the invasive plants that come into our gardens, those that disrupt our functioning, cause illness, make us out of balance with nature. May we notice, too, those small, ordinary flowers that bloom in our gardens that represent the everyday joys. And may we be blessed with many large, showy, beautiful blooms, celebrating the milestones in our lives, our relationships, the ways we connect with one another. Great Spirit, we look to the flowers today. The flowers that contain beauty and possibility, fragility, impermanence, and resilience. We look to them for a reminder that we too can grow through those cracks in the concrete. We remind ourselves and each other that when there is beauty, there is hope. To close, I want to share a prayer from Reverend Norbert Chopek. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of one another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that wherever we can do, whatever we can, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in the world. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Okay. I'd like to invite up our song leaders. You know who you are. Okay, my friends, We're going to sing with ambition today. As a friend's driving instructor told her, with conviction this time. We're singing a hymn called I Know This Rose Will Open. It's in your gray hymnal, number 396. But I encourage you to look up at one another while singing it and to notice the people around you and listen to one another. We'll be singing it in, get this, 4 parts, which we believe we can do because of the steadfastness of our excellent choir. Okay, so I'll be leading part 1 over here. I'm going to take Diane and Rin and Beth also in part 1. Yep. You don't have to move, just be allied with us. Okay, part 2, here is Desiree. This pew of people and a couple of you folks, maybe. Yeah? Okay. Right here, the center of the room, part 3. Important. Okay. Like a diagonal to the back, you know? Yeah? It's like middle bit. Okay. Part 4, you're with Victoria, you lucky ducks, and you're all of the people over here, okay? Great. We're going to sing this hymn once, all the way through together, and then follow your leader as we break into a round and sing it twice through. Oh, we sped through that.
Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of this church and the mission of a community organization that shares our values. This month, contributions to our collection plate are being shared with Building Bridges Financial Aid Fund. Building Bridges Financial Aid Fund is helping ensure that families and individuals of all economic backgrounds can experience this special Unitarian Universalist gathering. Building Bridges is an inclusive, lighthearted, all-ages conference grounded in Unitarian Universalist values. Held each summer on beautiful Star Island, the conference is designed to feel like summer camp for all ages and is a place where people can explore, connect, and grow in community. Over 7 days, participants of all ages share in learning, creativity, nature, and spiritual reflection. To donate directly, you can write a check to First Parish with BBFAF in the memo line. You may also donate online using the information on the slide. And this morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Thank you, Eileen. It's beautiful. Okay, there's not a breeze right there, but there is one here. I'm just going to talk for longer. Our reading today comes from Lynn Unger. It's called A Gift. In the middle of June, and I awake to rain. Gentle, persistent enough to soak the ground and clear the air. Isn't this the best kind of surprise? The thing you wanted but couldn't get for yourself and didn't know that you could have? Already the frogs are singing and the grass stretches its roots in rejoicing. And here am I, with my damp hair and empty hands, and nothing to say but oh, and thank you. Once again the world, my true love, has brought me flowers. I'd like to invite the choir up to sing our choral anthem, Color and Fragrance, based on a text Norbert Chopek wrote. No breeze up here. Too bad. So hopeful. In our Time for All Ages today, I talked about the origins of our flower communion ceremony. And I thought I hadn't done this in a while, and then I found my worship script from last year, and I also told this story last year. But it is a story that bears repeating, I think. A story worth telling and telling again. This is one of the jobs of religious community, to tell the stories that are important in our world, and then to tell them again, to remind ourselves of why, so that we can apply them to our current lives, what currently sits on our hearts, what our world is bearing. In this congregation, we talk a lot about how we need all of us to make our diverse, beloved religious community. And this is true in our congregation, but pluralism, the value Tropeck so touted, is not just important within the walls of our sanctuary of acceptance. It's true outside of these walls. We need one another here, and we need one another in our world. We need one another to show up to protests, to standouts, to move in solidarity, to bring one another meals and go for walks together, or to sit and talk. We need one another to demand policy change, to donate to mutual aid funds, to bear witness to the injustices in our world. We need one another in order to acknowledge those everyday and exceptional horrors of this time, where fascism is rising again. We need one another to love fiercely with commitment. And so the world right now needs our gifts, our individual gifts, but it also needs our clear-eyed vision of the importance of pluralism. In our Unitarian Universalist communities, we welcome people of diverse theological belief around a set of shared values that guides how we are together and how we are in the world. And pluralism is one of those values. We often think of pluralism as theological pluralism, the importance of inviting people together in shared religious community, no matter what we may believe about the divine or the afterlife or the meaning of it all. In our congregation, we have people with meditation practices, staunch atheists, agnostics who are sure they aren't sure, like me, religious humanists, Christians, Jews, and the list goes on. I can't be all-encompassing here. But right now we live in a country that tells us that we cannot connect across those lines of faith. It actually is telling us that we can't connect across other important lines, like lines of race, of citizenship status. And our country is increasingly being run by people who believe in white Christian nationalism, this vision of an America that only provides religious freedom to people who espouse conservative Christian values. Now, I know many Christians who are not all about this, and I'm sure you do too. But our role as Unitarian Universalists is to practice in our community what it means to belong to a pluralistic world. To say to one another, I hear you. That's different than me. Let's move through this with compassion and grace. To show up for one another, to mourn together, to believe in a better world together. In our UU communities, we also acknowledge that there is no set path ahead of us, not one that is to the sacred or the divine, nor one that is to a better world that will come, that we know will come. We know that better world is coming because we know people committed to making it so. People of diverse background, people of diverse religious community, journeying together one step at a time, one move at a time to create that world. This might be the time for you to discern for yourself what is the faithful risk that you want to take to make pluralism real in our world. What is the faithful risk that brings your values into the world? This might look like having a hard conversation with a family member, sharing more honestly about your religious beliefs with those who espouse different ones, creating bolder connections with your neighbors, supporting folks who are in ICE detention by showing up in a vigil for prayer every day, as some of my colleagues are. There are so many ways that we can do this faithful risk together. And it's not the first time, or even the second, or even the third time that inhumane policies coming out of white Christian nationalism have gained momentum. But you might have heard this term of the Overton window, where during political change, there's a time period where we can reverse back to our democratic values using that democratic system. And legal scholars say we are still in that window. But we need to take faithful risk within that time frame to protect our country, to protect those most vulnerable, to protect those who are scapegoated, like the Nazis scapegoated people. And in this beginning of summer, beginning of a time for some of us of more relaxation, more joy, more free time, and at this end of our church year together, our formal worship services, how will you reach out to your community in love, in solidarity and joy? How will you bring the message of pluralism home to your family, to your neighbors, to your workplace? What will we love and build and discover here, now, with Summer's Promise? How will we connect to the human family? When there is beauty, there is hope. And let our flowers today remind us of that hope. Amen. We'll now have our flower communion ceremony, where you're invited to come forward and select a flower that you did not bring to take home with you as a reminder of the pluralistic, diverse beauty of our community. You can come down the center aisle and return along the sides, and I encourage you to take a flower that's quite unlike the one that you brought to remind us of that promise of diverse beauty. Let us begin.
Are they stuck together?
I got it. Yeah, really stuck to it. Oh, it's the other one. Got it. Yeah.
They said we belong to one another in pluralistic community.
Flowers. Oh, jeez.
Take one, Joe. Take one, Joe. Pick one.
I'm too indecisive for this. Oh, goodness. Thank you.
There's plenty. Come over here. Pick one.
Guess we did a bigger dog.
I thought it was.
Exciting. Okay, they're all coming out eventually.
Destroy the whole thing.
There we go.
Oh, well, all right, so I will take this one. I think it had my name on it. It ended up in my hand.
White rose. Close enough.
Okay.
That's fun. So I'll put this one over here since I've got stuff. Do I dare take this? Gorgeous. Hollyhock? Is this hollyhock? Okay. I'll help you. That's fine. You can take that. You're good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ooh, that's one package, huh?
I guess. Oh yeah. Oh, that's mine. Yes, that's from my rose bush. Yeah.
Beautiful. Separate.
I think that's perfect. Cool. You're welcome. I'm gonna take the daffodils because I like daffodils.
We've all got our flowers. We're comparing notes. As we go forth with our flowers, let's remember that each of us is beautiful, and each of us has a gift to offer the world. I invite you to hold your flower, look at it, consider it, how it's different from all other flowers. There's no other flower that looks just like it. Like this flower, you too have a unique gift to bring. And all of us need all of our gifts right now. May it be so. Amen. I'd like to invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn. It's number 159, This Is My Song, and we'll sing all the verses. Let's take this joy, this peace, and this hope out into our world and the rest of our lives. Amen.
Heather come forward to extinguish our chalice. Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish
This flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you for that. That was great. Our time for worship has ended, and our time of fellowship now begins. If you'd like to stay for coffee hour, you can make your way up to the upper parish hall. The ushers will assist you in using the elevator as needed. One note for coffee hour, there are those gray tubs by the sink, so make sure you put your cups, your plates, any little ramekins, anything like that in those tubs by the sink so they can be washed and cleaned. Next week's service will be led by the worship committee. They don't have a title yet, but they do promise it will be great, so hopefully you join them next week. Oh, it's at 10:30. Next week's service is at 10:30 again. It's not summer hours yet.